Hello and welcome to AW.1, the AW Women's Division blog. My name is Travis, and today is going to be a bit of a stream of consciousness. Nothing too overly prepared, but I just wanted to talk about the women's side of the tournament for the Owen Cup this year. But I wanted to narrow that down a bit more to Athena versus Mercedes. Because like a lot of people, when those brackets came out on Dynamite, everyone was quick to sort of do their brackets and predict who was going to come out on each side and who was going to win and who was going to face each other at Double or Nothing. And on the right side of the bracket, you have Mercedes Moné versus Julia Hart and Athena versus Harley Cameron. And I think 99% of us anyway assume that the semifinal will be Athena versus Mercedes. And I mean, it should be. Julie should not beat Mercedes, and Harley Cameron should not beat Athena. That all seems pretty straightforward. However, when I started looking at the schedule of upcoming Dynamites and started thinking about how they've been teasing Athena versus Mercedes all this time, I started wondering if that was a red herring, that this tantalizing match that we've been waiting for so long, 4 belts Mercedes versus the forever champ Athena, could they be dick teasing us here? So on the schedule, there are 7 weeks in between Dynasty and Double or Nothing. Lots of time to do these. What would there be, like 1, 2? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 matches. So you'd figure there'd be like 1 per week, maybe, for the Owen tournament, with the final being on the 7th week at Double or Nothing. However, Mercedes Moné versus Julia Hart is taking place at Dynasty. AW in Boston is just 2 weeks later. So you think about the scheduling of that. Assuming Mercedes wins, her next match you would think would be the next round of the Owen Cup. And so if you follow up her beating Julia at Dynasty the next week, whether that's Dynamite or Collision, Athena beats Harley Cameron. Then the following week is Boston. You have Mercedes versus Athena. Then, once you have the winner of that match, you know who's going to be in the final at Double or Nothing, which is another 5 weeks away. So are you really going to sit on that match? They'll probably be facing either Chris Statlander or Jamie Hayter. Are you going to sit on that for 5 weeks? And what are those women going to do for all that time? So that was part of it. That was the timing issue. Just seems weird to me that they would do that. I mean, there's always ways around it. You can book, I don't know, something in the interim. Maybe there's something with Mercedes and Harley Cameron, and at the same time, Billy Starks has been getting in her business, and there's a whole Mercedes and Athena and Billy Starks and Harley Cameron storyline that goes on after Boston. But why would you do that when the match you're working towards would be either Athena or Mercedes versus Statlander or Hayter? So yeah, timing is one of the things that's even if you don't do the other semifinal match. Again, I think it's Statlander versus Hayter, I'm going to guess. You do that the week after. That's still 4 weeks where we know what the final is. And we can't really do anything for 4 whole weeks, 8 episodes of TV. I don't know. Maybe there's a way to book around it. I mean, there always is. But that's not booking 101. Now, Tony often goes outside of those because it's important to wrong foot your audience sometimes. I don't know. This will be interesting. The second argument against there being a Athena versus Mercedes semifinal is that match has been teased for what will be 11 months once we get to All in Texas. They were at Globe Life Field. Athena, Mercedes, Swerve, and others were at Globe Life Field on August 14th. And ever since then, there's been little teases online between Athena and Mercedes teasing that this match would come. Nothing canon until more recently when Billy Starks was getting in Mercedes Moné's business and Mercedes started criticizing her training, which of course she's a minion of Athena. Would Tony give that match away for free on Dynamite? It seems to be something that he's been building for a long time. Now, I say on a Dynamite, but to be fair, it's not just any Dynamite. It's Spring Breakthrough, which the title alone doesn't tell you what it is. It's the episode of Dynamite that passes WCW Nitro for the longest wrestling program in Turner Network history. So it's not a nothing episode, but it's not All In, and it's a big match that you can sell All In on when you have the biggest women's wrestling star in the world in Mercedes and Athena, who is arguably the most dominant women's wrestling star in the world, and she's from Texas. So I started going over this in my head, and I'm like, yeah, it kind of doesn't make sense, except that if we all quote unquote know that it's going to be Mercedes versus Athena at All In, then doesn't that kind of tell you what the ending is going to be of the finals at Double or Nothing? You're kind of signposting whether it's Jamie Hayter or Statlander versus Athena or Mercedes. The winner of that match goes to All In to face the world champ. Now, who knows? Maybe Mercedes could win that tournament and then Athena wins the world championship in the interim, and then it's like Mercedes 4 belts against Athena, or Athena's 2, the ROH and World and AEW World Championship. That would be crazy. It also seems like I don't think you want to put all your eggs in that basket because you still have Toni Storm, who is one of the biggest stars in the company. I don't think you take the belt off of Toni Storm just to add a little more juice to something that's already going to be a big match between Athena and Mercedes. But yeah, like I said, you kind of signposting at Double or Nothing what's going to happen. Whether it's Mercedes or Athena in the final, they have to lose so that they can face the other. So I I try to think about how this would play out if Tony does want to avoid not blowing that match, but just kind of giving it away for free on TV before All In. You'd have to have one of Mercedes or Athena lose their first round match. Could Julia Hart beat Mercedes? Ordinarily, I'd be like, you're going to struggle to get me to that 1% of doubt. But, maybe it's a banana peel win. I guess you could have Athena distract Mercedes or cheat or something to help her win. I don't know. And on the other hand, I mean, you've got even more unlikely, it feels like Harley Cameron defeating Athena. But maybe with Harley always trying to warm up to Mercedes. Let's say Mercedes wins and sees that her opponent would be, well, most likely be Athena. She might say, you know what, Harley, like, I'm going to take you under my wing and I'm going to train you to beat Athena. And she cheats to help Harley Cameron win. That could be a way of going about it too. But like I said, maybe it's better to just go right through and just have Athena versus Mercedes in Boston, because maybe if fans think that if that match happens, maybe the feud will be over and we won't get that match at all in, which will not signpost what's going to happen at Double or Nothing for the final of the Owen tournament. I don't know. I'm a little all over the place here. And there's also a part of me right now where I feel like AEW is kind of in a spot where, you're better off doing the safe thing rather than wrong-footing people for the sake of wrong-footing. I don't know. I probably listen to too many podcasts, and there's too many people. Like, when you're AEW, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you make it too predictable, people are complaining that it's too predictable. If you throw some swerves in there, people are saying it's illogical. Well, it's either illogical or it's predictable. It's a difficult task to do. So that's a long-winded way of saying maybe the obvious thing in the Owen Hart tournament isn't going to happen. And I mean, if you follow things like the NHL playoffs or March Madness, like, there's always big upsets. Hardly anyone ever gets it perfectly right. So maybe we're due for a big upset in the first round. We'll see. But you can let me know what you think in the comments below. Or hit me up on Blue Sky. I'm not on Twitter anymore. I've left that platform. Blue Sky, my handle is @AEW.1. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And please let the women in your life know that they're appreciated.